listening to Second Moon, the station for the cultural sophisticate who doesn't fear extending their ears to the more challenging sphere of the classical genre. Let us move now from the musical page to the literary. Here we have some perfectly anguishing correspondence from a listener. My dear Professor Hornbuckle, whereas I make no apology for my erudite, modesty demands that I prevaricate against the title. I am but a humble devotee of the form, and all my expertise derives merely from a life devoted to the gentle arts. Though I do thank you for the honor. But I digest. To continue. Professor Hornbuckle, as a traveler from my homeland, I long to hear a tune that speaks to the anguish of my road-weary soul. There now, my good fellow, chin up, as it were. No need to wallow in sediment. Leave that to those poet chaps, eh? Here's a tune just for you, and I do hope it provides your aching spirit some modest desolation.
A housing shortage is driving up prices in the area.
That's right, Glenda. But apparently, that's not all good news. We're joined today by an expert guest, Professor Nutbutter.
Welcome, Professor. So, a housing shortage is bad for the people trying to move here, right?
Humans are programmed to desire certain representations within ideological reward structures, which are entirely apart from the actual rewards enjoyed. For example, consider capital.
One final question, Professor. Is the housing shortage going to make me richer?
By certain metrics, perhaps yes, in the short term.
I like the sound of that.
But what we are discussing is the study of a statistical abstraction and its effect on the human
Thank you, Professor.
It is a question of priorities.
And on to our main feature story. The commercial district is booming as the area is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this.
Hey boss, how you going? You still there? Sorry, I wasn't looking at my chat properly. I was just trying to build this interchange. Awesome. Yeah, it's going alright. CS2. My first city here called Serenity. I'm using the I can't even pronounce the name of the map, but it's got a lot of mountains on it and a lot of harbors. And yeah, it's good. It's got its downsides and everything that you probably heard of. I don't know if you've been following up with all that's going on with this game at the moment, but it's playable. It's visually quite good, except for, you know, people inside cars and stuff. So, yeah, and it's running reasonably well on my system. I'm definitely glad that I upgraded to a 4070, although you probably need a 4090 for this game, and even then, you can't really run it on max settings. So, yeah, it does, I guess it's a little bit, I don't know how to put it, a bit boring in the fact of there's just not as much content in it at the moment. And missing the mods, of course, as well. The variety. Um, the the zoning is a bit weirder now. Like it's as if they've removed the one tile buildings. So you get all these weird spaces, like a lot more weird spaces, which is a bit annoying and a bit, yeah. It's almost like the zoning's, in my opinion, a little bit worse than what it was before. Yeah, that's right with the mods. I mean, there are some mods out there already unofficially. I haven't tried using them yet. The only thing I've sort of slightly touched on is you can put developer mode on. So here it gives you access to, I guess, what the developers would use. And one feature is this here, bypass validation results, which in a way acts like anarchy. So sometimes where it tells you you can't build something with that checked on, you can still build it. So a little bit like anarchy. So if it says something's too steep, you can still build it, which is quite handy because there is sometimes, I guess, just like the original CS1 game in vanilla, like my little highway thing here. Yeah, there was quite a bit of restrictions in terms of what you could do and build in certain spots. So yeah, so it's pretty good. It's going alright. I've actually been intending to, because I did a computer refresh and everything needs to be reinstalled, but I was considering loading up CS1 and just going back to that for a bit and seeing how different it feels. Yeah, the bridge is so with the I got the pre-order pack, and with the pre-order you get a Golden Gate bridge to use, which is pretty cool. I think it worked quite well here. Sends the freeway straight through the mountain over to this part here. Connects in over here. Oh, I just remembered I'm halfway through that interchange now. Traffic's gonna get massively screwed. Then it feeds up through here. Nice interchange in the mountainside here. And also down to here, this little area called the Gap. And yeah, so it's getting there. I've also got a university town over here, which I started at some point. So this bridge that crosses across here was always originally there, so I just kept it and yeah, built around it. The only other gripe I have with it is everything's so big. All the like a train station here, like that's how big a train station is. And I get that train stations can be that big, but in all seriousness, if you want just like a little metro one, you can't really do that. And the rail yard is massive as well. And I've already had to build two rail yards because they obviously can only supply a certain amount of trains. Oh, I've got a train traffic jam here or something. I don't know what's going on here. And I don't think you can delete things, so I don't know how that works. Oh, there it goes. It's moving now. So yeah, so in some aspects, the assets like this here, the nuclear power plant is massive, but really, a nuclear power plant probably is that big. But it's just a bit restrictive because it's so like that's a high school, you can add on to it there. That's a primary school which is quite large as well. So I guess that scale is probably is a little bit realistic in one aspect, but really they could make smaller versions of it, you know, because there are smaller versions of those things. I got the port here. Doesn't seem to be ferries. It seems to have this passenger boat service, which is, I guess it's not a cruise ship, but it's not just like a simple ferry either. It's a pretty decent size ship thing. Yeah, cheers for that. Yeah, the terrain, honestly, the terrain in this is was very, especially when I first started, it's a lot more challenging. I think the assets and the way that they fit into different parts of terrain haven't really been optimized properly. Like if you look here, look at these garbage cans. Like there'd be some slight weirdness in CS1, but not to that degree. And this is obviously building with a lot more careful detail to the terrain and being really deliberate with the terrain and doing terraforming as well, because if you don't, it really ends up looking like shit, to be honest. And it was just not something that you massively had to worry about with CS1. I didn't anyway. Like you could sort of build on terrain and have some regard to the topography, but um, it would work reasonably well. And even the weirdness that was there was not really in your face kind of thing. So yeah, so it's very interesting. And yeah, just the way it does zoning sometimes, like sometimes it doesn't even put zoning on different sides of like the street. It's just yeah, I don't know if you've played with it yourself yet, but yeah, you'll know what I mean when you try to start zoning. It's a little bit you have to be really deliberate with the way you do your streets and zoning, and you have to use a few little tricks as well. So I don't know why that spot's blank. I don't even know what that's zoned for. Let's change it to some row housing. And then the whole tree thing. So trees have like a lifespan. So when you plant a tree, it's like you can see here the ring. So that's obviously the extent that it's going to grow at. So you need space for it. And then it takes quite a while for the tree to actually grow. Personally, I think I'd just prefer fully grown trees. I mean, I don't need that sort of level of realism. Yeah, they definitely need, yeah, smaller. It's just sometimes a bit ridiculous, like the amount of space you have to use just to put a train station. Like here in this part that I'm starting to build, which I'll build out all the way along this bay. I started off by putting a couple of train stations here, and you really have to manage the space because it like this train station practically takes up this whole area. When realistically, when you look at it, I guess it's like a typical, I don't know what you'd call it, a suburban train station with parking, like heaps of parking space, the building, and then you have to have like, what is it, 6 lines? You can upgrade it. You can't just have like even just a double line. That's not possible at the moment. So it's a bit weird. Like you could literally have this station in half the footprint, and it's still realistic. Yeah, cheers, E-Boss. Yeah, I'm not sure if I would call myself a professional just yet, but um, sure, if I had a lot more time to do it, I would probably get right into it. But yeah, I do have a little bit more time now that I'm on uni break, so that's good. So here you can see there's a lot of terrain, like even here, what it's done here. it's just a bit ridiculous. Like, I mean, at the very least, it should be programmed that no
You're
matter what,
back with Second
these
Moon
bins
Radio,
should be
your
facing,
second musical
you know,
home
the
from home.
correct
So
direction,
settle back and
even
catch
if
up
it's
with
on a
us.
weird
Hopefully
slope.
we'll
Like, I
see you
mean,
there for another
having
hour
it stand
of
up
music.
unrealistically on the slope
Tonight
would be
we
better
are
than
doing
it
a
standing
musical
sideways
tour of
unrealistically on the slope.
Italia.
So I think there's
And
still
that's
a
been
bit of
so
work to do.
que bon, as they say.
The
And
graphics
an
are pretty
aria
good. I'm
inspired
running
by
it
the
on reasonably
end
high
of Miss
graphics.
Vivaldi. Shall
And you can
we
see the frame rate I'm getting is about 35
Interesting
frames per
news from
second
the
in this
city's
area.
export division. Sources tell us that
But when
our
I go
city
to a
has
busy
more
area,
services than we know what to do with.
like
And you
right in
know
my
what that
city
means,
center,
folks.
you'll notice
It
how much
means
the
we're
frames
not
just
cutting
drop.
things close enough.
Well, no. The point is,
And
we're
this is on a
slowly
4070.
and bringing money into
Look at the
the
That's
traffic
right.
flowing
You
out of
could
this
almost say it's too
central
much of
station
a
that I
good
built.
thing.
Or we could say
Amount of
we're
people walking.
enjoying a positive trade balance, and the
So
economy
actually I'm
is
still staying
booming.
around
More
23
after this.
frames, which is not
This
too
just
bad.
in from traffic.
But you can see
If
how
you're
slow the
thinking
people are
about
moving.
hitting the
So
streets, you can
what
expect
they do if it's
delays on
struggling your
major roads,
CPU,
especially during rush hour.
they actually just
That's
slow the
right.
simulation
Seems like
rather than, I
everyone's
guess,
in a hurry to get
stuttering or
somewhere
anything like
fast.
that. So
It's
if I
worth
put the
slowing
speed up
down. And if you
to,
can, plan
twice
on
the
getting
speed, I think it's two
outside.
times the speed,
Oh, I
it
know.
looks a
I'd
little
rather
bit more
wait an hour in
realistic.
traffic than to have to start thinking about
And
it.
that's supposed to be four times.
Besides, if I did that, I'd never
But
get
yeah,
anywhere.
they shouldn't be walking in slow motion, of course. It is rather crazy that, yeah, they've released it this unoptimized for graphics cards. Like you'd think a 4070 would, you know, be able to run it at a decent rate, let alone a 4090 or something. But yeah, that's where we're at. So what I'm doing at the moment is this intersection, which is probably feeding all traffic through here now, has become quite busy, and it was one of the first. It was actually the first interchange I made um, when I was completely fresh. So I'm going to rebuild it and make it a little bit better, and hopefully I've got more skills to make it better now because I've put a few hours into it now. I'm up to 66,000, um, 16,000 population. Yeah, the trains definitely look way better than yeah, that was one of the cool things. The trains do look really good. Just trying to find one now. Oh yeah, there we go. It's the freight trains. They look a lot more realistic, and the graphics are pretty damn good too on them. So yeah, obviously this base game is a really good foundation to build upon, and it definitely, I mean, graphics-wise, it's definitely better than, you know, much more polished than CS1, of course. But yeah, my studies, yeah, they went well. I got a HD mark, a high mark in one of my subjects, and I got just a pass in the other one, which is a little bit frustrating, but still, um, it's good that I got a really high mark in one, and I got the really high mark in the urban planning one, and I got a pass mark in my business law subject. So, which is a little bit annoying because I felt like I learned a lot, but the format of the how do I put it, the examination was just a little bit not what I'm used to, I guess. But it's the only law subject I have to do. So yeah, it's going well. I'm just on my break now, and then in about a week and a half, me and the family are going to go to Malaysia for 2 weeks and spend Christmas there with her family. So I guess I won't be able to play this. I'll be honest, I have had some strong thoughts about potentially buying a gaming laptop so that I could, you know, play this on the plane or something. It sounds really like bad. But yeah, so obviously I won't be doing any of this for 2 weeks while I'm over there. Yeah, cheers. Thank you. And then get back and have another 2 weeks off work as well, so that'll be good. So yeah, getting these elevations right as well with the roads, because the tool that, you know, you probably saw me use a lot in CS1 is the how do I call it, it's like the leveling tool where you could basically pick 2 points and then it would average out the elevation so that it would give you a smooth, clean look. Obviously, you can't do this on this game, so you have to really spend a bit more time trying to get the elevations right. I mean, with this, basically, you just use the this elevation tool just here. You pick a point and then you can smooth it out, which is good. But obviously, you won't be able to do that. If I wanted to make it a bridge, which I originally did, you can't really do that unless you do it all in one hit, which is a little bit hard to do, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, so here I think we'll just we'll build a loop around into here because we've got the space, and I'm thinking we could potentially do a loop around here as well, and just maybe take out that building, and it will just um, it'll just make it a lot more less reliable on the intersections on the overpass. But yeah, let's see if I'm happy with this. It looks smooth enough for my liking. Let's just smooth out this lumpy bit a bit more. Now you can just soften up the sides of it as well. I need some more strength in that. There we go, make it look a little bit nicer. Maybe just flatten this out a lot more so that it looks not so engineered, I guess is the word. So yeah, so how you been anyway? What's been happening with you? I guess it's getting pretty cold over there in Belgium. Yeah, well, actually, we December 1 is what do you call it? Oh, look at that glitch there. It told me I couldn't do it, and I just did it anyway. Actually, well, December 1 is the first day of summer here in Australia, so and it's definitely come in with a vengeance. So it's been about 30 to 33, 34 in the last few days. Very humid as well. I actually end up getting a little aircon installed in this room because the heat that this produces in here, let alone just even with the humidity, is just massive. So I'm enjoying the air conditioning at the moment in here, and it's keeping my temperatures at reasonable pace. My GPU is running at 88% at the moment, and it's at about 66 degrees Celsius. And my CPU is running about 60%, and it's just under 70 degrees. So I ran it before without the aircon on, and the CPU was getting up to about 80 degrees. The GPU actually was still fine. It was going okay. Um, but yeah, it's definitely much more comfortable hiding out in here. Yeah, yeah. If only. And then when we go to Malaysia, it's going to be. Well, it's funny because I guess if you look at seasons in the traditional sense of when they are, we're going to put Malaysia in, in inverted commas, is their winter. Um, but obviously, being right near the equator, I don't think they would consider. I don't even know if they would reference seasons per se like that. But yeah, their winter in inverted commas is about, I think, 30-degree average days over there, so I think might be slightly, like ever so slightly cooler, but I don't know what the humidity is like. It's probably going to be pretty killer there as well. So, but you know what? I like the heat, to be honest. I probably prefer the heat than to the cold. So, you just get to swim, and it's just, yeah. I mean, it can be a little bit relentless, the humidity, that's for sure, but I don't know. It's just, I don't know if I could handle, Belgium or Holland weather constantly. Like, it'd be a novelty to go there during those cold seasons, but I don't know if I could handle it for an extensive period of time. I don't think I'm giving this enough space. I might have to bring it back. So I need to make a shorter section here. Maybe here. The reason I do this is just simply so I can create another node and not have to cut that whole section up. And then we'll bring this over here, replace. Yeah, so the way they do the freeways now with the way it uses lanes is actually quite intuitive. The way they've upgraded the roads is actually really good. That's definitely one of the best new things. So you can see it picks a section where you're going from, so you can do these sort of smooth transitions just straight out of the box and not spend like ridiculous amount of hours working on interchanges like I did with CS1. While it was still enjoyable, I didn't hate it. Sometimes I would literally spend 2 or 3 hours just on one interchange alone just to get it perfect. And I think once you add in the similar mods, it'll be unreal. It'll be really, really, really unreal. Alright, so we can pull that here. About there. Okay, we've got natural transition, so now we've got space. And we want to pull that lane. Find the square point. It's like the mod, I don't know if you're familiar with the precision engineering mod. It's like that's been built into it, which is really good as well. With all the details that it gives you, like the elevation and the length in meters, that's all really good. Alright, so I'm going to keep this as smooth to the road as possible. And we want to try to get this loop going. We'll need a little bit more space. And we might have to knock out some buildings here. And the people are sad. Alright. So effectively we want to probably go out this far and square it off and come back up.
Please exercise caution if you must drive. And
so
try
what
to
we
stay
did
off
before with
the
the other
streets until
side is just
conditions
put
improve. This has been a local public service
a
announcement.
flattened section here.
You're listening to Second Moon Radio with J. Thomas Hornbuckle, and we're
Yeah, the road
some of
connections
the
are
finest
definitely
classical music on the air. Keep that
definitely
dial
better.
right here.
The whole road system is definitely better. That's
Industry in the region
one
is
thing they obviously
on the rise, and when
focused
business
on
is
in the
doing
beginning, and they've
well,
nailed that.
floats our boats.
There's no
Oh,
sinking this boat,
too
Glenda.
much strength in that.
We're live, and we're getting reports about a traffic accident somewhere in the city.
Road maintenance services have already been dispatched, and traffic flow should return to normal. But
Get
if you're
that down
planning a quick
to
trip out, you might want to wait
similar
a little
level
while
of the
until everything
road.
clears up.
If you're in it, you already know about it. No use reminding you. Meanwhile, expect delays and drive safe.
Still need a little bit more further down. Okay, so that's well, maybe ever so slightly lower. Okay, I reckon that's what we want. Then we just have to guesstimate where the loop's going to go, so probably going to go around there. We square that off. And then use this tool here, which is the slope terrain tool. And right click here to pick the point you want to slope to. And then we basically just do this. And it should bring it up to that. In a smooth-ish transition. Just hold the mouse button down. And yeah, might need to smooth this out a little bit more to the roadside. Yeah, so this is what I'll have to work with for now. It'll be interesting that the transition over time will be fun because you can obviously go back to parts of your city and refine them, and it's almost like the same thing as it was like for me with CS1 was I started off with no mods for ages and then I got mods, and it's like a transition over time when technology gets better, and you know, the old days they made roads really bumpy and then suddenly they make them a lot more smoother because technology's improved. So it's almost like a time-lapsed thing, which I guess will be the same for this. Once they fix everything and mods come out properly. Yeah, there's unofficial mods at the moment, but I'm just not. I'm actually enjoying this enough without them, and they're not really that many. They're not really that advanced yet. When the official mod store comes out, that'll be good, and it'll make things easier. You won't have to worry about it breaking a game and all that other BS that you had to worry about with CS1, which I'm honestly not looking forward to dealing with if that was going to be the same setup. Alright, let's give this a crack now. Alright. So the way that you can see the angles and everything is just miles ahead of what it was in CS1. So that should give us a smooth curve. And then we should be able to transition it into here. What I did want to do is create another lane. Not sure how that's going to work though. When we come back and we might be able to fix that later. Cool. And then now we just do standardized intersections for the rest of it. So it's interesting because it's similar to actually I'll just show you. I'll just find it. And I'll use my near map accounts. So this is my near map account. But basically this is a aerial mapping system we use here in Australia, which basically gives you very up-to-date aerial images on quite a regular basis. So the interchange that I'm sort of basing it on is something similar to what we have here near my place that's recently been completed. So it's not a full, you know, intersectionless interchange, but it gives a couple of loops and that sort of improves traffic flow, I guess. So yeah. And then they recently built, this one's just been recently completed as well, which has just been upgraded. But this takes into consideration a lot of other off-roads and everything as well. So that one looks quite nice too. Yeah, this is where I live, Brisbane. Wonder if you can see any sort of, yeah, connection in the way I do things to the way that everything's laid out here in Brisbane. So Brisbane city itself is just here. So I don't know if you know anything about Brisbane at all. So Brisbane's central business district sits here on this peninsula of this river here, the Brisbane River, and then the city basically feeds out from there. And you've got Moreton Bay over to the side here, North and South Stradbroke Island and Moreton Island. But probably one of the cool, well, I think it's cool anyway, junctions that they've done here is just here at Bowen Hills. So this here feeds a couple of tunnels. This tunnel actually goes all the way under the city and under the river, and then feeds another tunnel that goes to the airport. Yeah, so they've done a lot of roadworks here recently in Brisbane. You got the Brisbane airport's just recently got a second runway. So yeah, but anyway, back to CS2. Yeah, northeast. It's yeah, I guess northeast of Australia. It's the most. Well, if you've got Sydney, Sydney's 1,000 kilometers south of Brisbane, and then Melbourne's another about 800 kilometers southwest of Sydney. So Brisbane's the biggest northern city in Australia. All right, let's get this. If I want to be pedantic, I would say that loop is much bigger than this one, but we've got constraints of industrial buildings here, so we don't want to stir the boat too much, so we'll just live with that. Yeah, so there's a Great Barrier Reef, but so Brisbane's the capital of Queensland, and Brisbane sits effectively at the bottom of Queensland, but the size of Queensland is massive. So to go to the northernmost, reasonably sized city in Queensland is 1,800 kilometers north here of Brisbane. So to put it in perspective, Sydney, which is in a different state, south, is 1,000 kilometers. So it's actually quicker to go to Sydney than it is to go all the way to the north of Queensland. And it's that northern part of Queensland, so probably 1,000 kilometers north, from 1,000 kilometers north of Brisbane is where the Great Barrier Reef effectively starts. I guess it's about 1,000, probably 800 to 1,000 kilometers. So yeah, it's yes, we're sort of close to it, but in a way we're not. In a way, if you know what I mean, like it's this state, this country is really big. So all right, I think I need to build some more. All right, so we're gonna build off ramp, and how are we gonna do this? Just do it. So I want to keep it dual lane, I think. How do we do that without losing the smoothness in that connection? Okay, looks like we can. So see in this instance here, it's red and it's saying invalid shape. I'm overlapping items, but because I've got this developer mode on, it'll let me build it. But then you can see probably why I shouldn't have. It's just shut itself. Okay, so we'll just get rid of that for the moment. So what we'll do is we'll feed one lane off. Yeah, I guess yeah, we're close to that then, yeah. Yeah, Queensland's Australia's most popular holiday destination. There's a lot of cool stuff here in this state. Alright, so how can we get it up? So if I go click, and then bring it up. This should give me the smoothest transition in theory. And get it nice. Alright, let's see how that looks. I just can't stand the lumpiness. Okay, that looks smooth, so happy with that. And we can always upgrade it to... Oh, what am I doing? Okay, so if people coming off this way aren't going to need to turn right, obviously. So they only need to turn left because they can do that by going straight, of course. Yeah, Gold Coast is, so you got Brisbane, which is the capital, about, what are we now? I think 2 million, 2.5 million people, and then about 100 kilometers south of here is the Gold Coast, which is right on the, um, yeah, the Gold Coast is quite, yeah, quite beautiful. It's probably the most popular holiday destination in Australia. Um, full of high rises and everything as well. Actually, I have to show you that's worth seeing. I should have showed you that before. Because it's quite interesting. It's all built on canals, and it's I guess its geography is quite different, really. All right, so we'll start here. So we got Brisbane City here in the middle, and then we head directly south. And then basically this is the beginning of the Gold Coast. And already here you can see there's a lot of canal living. So all this here is called Sanctuary Cove. So this is effectively, the majority of it is actually a gated community. So yeah, where a lot of the wealthy people live. You can see some people have some nice ridiculous sized houses right on the water. And it pretty much keeps going on. This place here is called Sovereign Island, and it's not gated, but it's an very exclusive kind of spot. Like you can look at this place here. They don't even have just one lot. They've have I think 3 or 4 lots there. So you're talking, multiple millions of dollars for those properties. And yeah, it's just filled with it. It just keeps going, really. It's about a city of about 500,000 people, and in the coastline, which is a little bit hard to see on the aerial, is literally just high rises the whole length. I mean, if you Google Gold Coast, it'll give you a better view because I don't think I can anyway. Can I do a 3D? Oh yeah, I can do a 3D, but I don't know if they have done the Gold Coast though. Possibly. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this probably still doesn't really do it justice to what it's really like. It does look quite beautiful if you Google it. But yeah, you got a lot of high rises just running along this whole section of the Gold Coast. And then yeah, just more canal living. So yeah, that's the Gold Coast. It is quite a beautiful spot, but it's very busy and it's become, I guess, a little bit, how do I put it? A bit plastic, if you will, a bit tacky and plastic in that way, I guess. I hope you understand what I mean by that. Like it's become a bit, yeah, like basically, if you like to be jacked up on, I guess, steroids and or you're one of those chicks that loves her Botox, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a wannabe bold and beautiful kind of It's become a kind of spot like that. So a lot of people actually prefer to go north, which is the Sunshine Coast, if it loads up quick enough, which is about 100 kilometers north, which is a little bit more down to earth and has beautiful beaches and everything like that, which is just along here. So both of these areas are um, quite popular for tourism. Yeah, kind of the opposite in yeah, which is good. And me being living on the north side of Brisbane, it's actually easier for me to go this way because it's interesting. Queensland is such a, you know, well-known holiday, beach area, but the capital, Brisbane, the biggest city, sits here on this bay. So the waterfront in these areas in the bay, because they don't get the surf waves, it's actually not as, I mean, it's still pretty, but it's not like the beaches on the Gold Coast or the Sunshine Coast. So people in Brisbane, will go up the Gold Coast and up to Sunshine Coast, to go to the beach really. If they want to go to the real beach, that's what they'll do. So that's probably the only downside to Brisbane. If Brisbane had proper beaches, it would be unreal. Yeah, it's funny you say that. Gold Coast kind of has that. It's the Miami of Australia kind of vibe going. All right, let's get building again. All right, and I'm just gonna make sure it doesn't. It's very sensitive. There's a lot of different snapping options as well, which is sometimes a bit overwhelming. All right, we try that, and we get that problem again. So what we need to do is um, do that. Oh no, it's not working. Okay. Yeah, well, everything in Australia is becoming more expensive, so it's just, yeah. Even, where I live is expensive and it's not on the beach or anything like that, but it's a good area to live, so yeah, it is what it is at the moment. I know how I'll make this work, so if I pull this up here, make that make that the make that initially, but I want it to feed off to the left. Like this. Maybe a little bit earlier. Yeah, like that. To get it to match. It's really giving me grief with the snapping. I think that works. Yes, I think. And then we just bulldoze that. There we go. It just doesn't look smooth enough, does it? No, it's got to look smoother. So So now have we created a lumpy interchange or not? Yeah, it's a bit too lumpy for my liking, so let's start again. Right, and then I think that's what we want. Okay, happy with that for the moment. We'll have to fix up the way that works, but if we get the basic structure going first, then we'll be in business. So the lines here have bugged out a little bit. So it does do automatic intersection lining for the most part, which is good too. I mean, it's not exactly realistic. I wonder if they'll actually will get a. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually mod that, because it's probably easier to mod something that doesn't exist rather than mod something that already sort of built into the game. So it will be interesting to see if you can really detail to that level. I missed the part where you said you'd been studying Redcliffe. Were you trying to say Redcliffe? I'm not sure. I'll have to look up that GPS coordinate. Alright, what's next? So obviously we need the part that goes here. I mean, in theory, you shouldn't really have that going to the intersection, but is that really a problem? I don't know. Alright, let's make this part. Ah, okay, in Brazil, Recife. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, Brazil is an interesting country to look at on aerials as well. I'd love to go there one day. Check it out. Cut these zoning back a little bit. I might just have to knock these out for the moment. We'll let them rebuild. So that we can make some more space. Increase the intensity there. Yeah, interesting in messing down the street. Yeah, yeah, it's one of those places that's really heavily contrasted. Like you got really nice areas, really well laid out areas, and then you run into these big, what do they call them, favelas or something, favelas or something. I think it's the word, the slums, where it's just an absolute mess. Um, and just some areas that just look really, yeah, like really, I don't know what's the word. They're not like complete slums, but they're just really rough and kind of an area that I guess if you or me went there completely not from there, we'd stand out like dog's nuts. That's what we say here in Australia. So yeah, I'll tell you another place to look at if you want to see really high contrast would be South Africa. South Africa has really intense, like you're looking at really wealthy neighborhoods and literally there's a fence and it's just massive areas of slums. It's just incredible how I don't know. It's just incredible how somewhere can be like that. Like, I mean, here in Australia, like your worst areas
How
would be like,
delightful! Another
heaven to
letter
people
from
in those
our
countries
erstwhile
that are
listeners.
living in slums, in
What's
areas that
up,
we look at and
Uncle?
go, oh, they're,
Me and my
that's a
sister
low,
love you.
that's a crappy
Oh,
area, or that's
that's
a
nice.
bad area to live in.
Y'all
Like,
got
it's,
clarinets and
it's
violins, but
amazing the
you got
differences in
something
different
most
countries.
music these days ain't. Let me guess. Lineage traced back to the great Haydn himself, hmm?
Yeah,
Let's
more
see.
integrated than
Y'all got
a lot of real
soul.
gated communities
Oh,
out
yeah,
of crime rates, I
soul.
guess.
A
Yeah.
raison d'etre?
Well,
Let me
I guess
guess.
it's like I went to a
My
place here
sister
in
said
Australia,
whenever
which is
you got
sort of
brain to
in the
keys,
in the outback, I guess
Got
you
no
call it, or
funk
in
to
the
his
rural area.
pinky.
And it's a really high crime area.
Silver,
And the
that gets
hotel I
you.
stayed in was
That's
literally like an
classical.
inside-out jail.
Yes,
It was like
indeed.
security to keep
That
the
must
outside.
be most
You know, it
exasperating.
was sort of
Classical music
weird like that.
has
I
been
really
known
found it
since the time of
strange,
the
but
early explorers.
um,
Funk, by
yeah, I
contrast, is an
guess
entirely modern conceit, and
yeah,
you'll
it'd be
find
different
none
for
of that
people living in
here.
those
Funk, as
countries.
they say, is for the lay person. Now, let's hear another one of those soulful cants.
When you say other people more integrated, do you mean here or do you mean in those other countries? Or I mean, if you mean here, like it definitely feels, I guess, an overall more leveler playing field, I guess is the way to put it. I mean, there's still obviously different classes and all that sort of thing, but it's not as intense. The I guess the spectrum from poor to rich, I guess, particularly in housing. But yeah, look, I don't know. With Brazil, I've never been there. All I know is what I've seen online about Brazil. Yeah, definitely, it's definitely. But I mean, what I said before was more, yeah, what I've seen online and doing a bit of Google Street View. I love just doing a random drop a Street View point somewhere, anywhere in the world, and kind of see what it is. And I just remember doing that in Brazil, and you just always get to these particular areas that just look just a lot more intense. Just I guess they look unsafe. They're probably possibly not unsafe, but they do look. I mean, to me, they look unsafe. So, but yeah, you're right. At the end of the day, without having gone there, it's hard to judge that. All right. Yeah, and this is why you definitely need to go, and I myself as well definitely need to go to one of these places and just see it firsthand. It's the only way. But I think ultimately people will be people, and they're probably, not much different to anyone else, to any other human really. They just live with different problems to what you and me have. And we got a problem here, like this, playing City Skylines, and having little glitches like this. Alright. Okay, let's try that again. So we go bang. Still giving me that crappy look. Okay. Alright, maybe just build this out a little bit more, give it some more room without taking up too much land. Like that. Probably just need to give it a bit more space. I can't live with that. Alright. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, just gonna have to bring it out a little bit further. Maybe like that. Give it a bit more of an angle. See, it's all blue now, so it's letting me do it this way, which is a good sign. I'm only getting red up here. We go bang. Alright, that looks better. We have got a problem here though. We've got a road going straight through. Oh, and here too. Ah, okay. So that's a problem. But it's a problem I think I can fix. Because you know what's interesting? In Civil, I was going to keep saying SimCity. In City Skylines 1, if this happened, the cars would just drive through it like it wasn't there. But I actually think the cars can't drive through it. So let's just see what happens with this guy here. Oh, he did drive through it. That's weird. Oh no, here we go. Oh, but he can flip through it. Okay. There's enough space for him to get through. Let's see the truck. A truck just goes through it. Alright, fair enough. Okay, we can fix this though, but we'll fix that after we finish this. Well, yeah, when you're saying this that it's more colourful, one interesting thing a South African said to me was, um, he'd been in Australia for I don't know a few years now, but he said that what did he say? He said Australia doesn't have the same heart as South Africa, the same how did he put it? If it felt a little bit more sterile and clinical here in Australia than it did in South Africa. Um, so I guess that kind of touches on what you're saying with being colourful. All right. So what we need here is if we go like that, and then like this. Trying to find that smooth. It's going all weird on me. Finding it really hard to find a smooth, the smoothest. Alright, so we're getting there. Almost looks like it's not there, it's so transparent. Alright, so get rid of this guy here. There we go. Okay, so that just leaves us with the other 2 points that we need to make here as well. We're going to have to destroy this bridge and rebuild it so it doesn't have pillars in the middle of the road, of course. Oh, I did change the pillar over here. So it's just that pillar there. Okay, cool. So we're on the day-night cycle at the moment, so we'll just turn that off so we can have full daylight. I might just get rid of this block here. That makes sense there. And that's probably right. Let's do some terrain leveling again to get it to meet up. Doing it at a right angle. pretty close to what I want. Alright, and now we want... What does it come down here? We want it quite tight as well, because we're going to have that one tight, so about there. Then use this guy here, so we'll come around and then curve in like that. So probably want to go around like this. I think that will work. Alright. Hopefully it's not too close to this intersection. And we'll go double lanes. Turn on our contours. Actually, we're probably gonna have to go straight initially. Make sure it's going to the ground level. And try to get it to match the curve as much as possible. Keep the symmetry. And then not getting the smoothness I want. I just need a touch like that. Probably needs to go to one lane maybe.
You're listening to Second Moon, the station
Probably.
for the cultural sophisticate who doesn't fear extending their ears to the more
Because
challenging
that
sphere
corner is
of
way
the
too tight.
classical genre. Let us
That's not
move
realistic
now
at all.
from the musical page to the
So
literary.
we'll change that to
Here we
a
have some
one-laner.
perfectly anguishing correspondence from a listener.
But then it's on
My
the wrong
dear
side.
Professor Hornbuckle, whereas I make no apology for my erudite, modesty demands that I prevaricate against the title.
But we can
that
probably...
humble devotee
So it has got
for
this feature where you can
all
fine
my
adjust it, so you turn
expertise
snapping
derives
off.
merely from a life devoted to the gentle arts.
Because what I
Though
want
do
is it to
thank
go...
you for the honor.
I wonder if I'll be able to freehand
But I
this.
digest. To continue. Professor
Oh,
Hornbuckle.
it's not as tight though. Okay.
As a traveler from my
So
homeland,
the best way to
I
do this
long to
is
hear
to
a
do
tune
it
that
as
speaks to the
one lane
anguish
and
of
then
my
duplicate it.
weary soul. There now, my good fellow, chin up, as it were. No need to wallow in sediment. Leave that to those poet chaps, eh? Here's a tune just for you, and I do hope it provides your aching spirit some modest desolation.
Alright. I'll find that sweet spot. See, that went down a bit too much. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna start again. Sorry for my obsessive pedanticness with these interchanges sometimes. Let's try it again. Yep, that's what I want. It's doing something weird with that terrain. Okay. Alright, now getting that smoothness that I want. I have to do a short version first. There we go. Oh, look what happened to that part there. That's painful. Alright, so that's our terrain spot, and we want to go around like this. There we go. There we go. Alright, that works. Now if we want to make it double laned, oh, that shadow is a bit off-putting. It makes it look like there's a little hump there. Oh, hang on, there is a hump there. I don't know. It's really hard to tell. One surefire way to fix that is just to build it again. But just that section. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Just do it real quick speed, time-lapse style. Oh yeah, I made this in like 5 minutes. Truth is, you can get a half-decent result in about a few minutes, really. As you can see, like the tools are much better, but I just like it to be a bit more perfect, as much as I can. It's just visually pleasing to the eye at the end of the day. Alright, so I want to duplicate that like that. Does seem a touch wiggle there. If we go like this, yep, there we go. So you can actually refine it. This is straight out of the box. This is actually a really good feature. There we go like that. Alright, left-hand drive, and then you come in on the lane ends on the left, of course, and that makes sense. Okay. And then we could put a slip lane as well. So here we know that we're going to need to upgrade this road so that it has a turning lane. So do we just make it a 6-lane road? Like that. I think that makes sense. Oh, we make it a 5, so that we can have dedicated lane coming in for the guy coming in off the freeway. Although it would be nice for that guy there, but I don't have a 2 and 4 configuration, so we have to live with that. Alright, cool. And there's some fine adjustments that you can do like this. You can get rid of sidewalks, so we don't need sidewalks there, of course. So get rid of the traffic lights in that section too. Too bad the medium doesn't connect up, but that's fine. And then we'll do a slip lane over here as well. Slip lanes are really a lot easier to do as well, as you can see. That's probably another cool thing about the road tools. I mean, the line markings aren't perfect, of course, but... And it's really put a dip in there for me doing that, actually. What will happen if I take that away? Does it go back to what it was? No, it keeps the dip. Awesome. Not. So what we'll do is we will just rebuild that whole section. Keep it dual laned. Get it to line up to that. So I'm not sure why it's giving me a red. Oh, hang on a second, is it even connecting to the road? Okay, there we go. And then we'll get that aligned with that. There we go. Then we get a pretty smooth curve. So I think the problem is if I put a slip lane in, it's going to give me that bit of that wonky road. Alright. Yeah, it's not liking that, hey, it's making it look like shit, to be honest. Well, we can make it... What we can do is we can do this. Yeah, that's right. In CS1 it did kind of follow the terrain. It does sort of follow the terrain here as well, but if you look at that dip down there. But from one point to another point it does kind of level, which is good. But if I just do section by section, it will follow the terrain. I'm not sure why it's put that bend all the way down there. It's a bit annoying. So what I could do is just build it down. As long as I can get it to meet there. So that's that point here. Then bring it, oh, oops. Try that again. And just keep it straight for now. Change the elevation steps to a more refined level. Get the squared offness. And just bring it down gradually. Instead of that long, maybe about here. And then take it to over here. Okay. Oh, I don't know. I think it's still going to be a bit funny, but how determined can one be for a slip lane? I follow that and pull it in like this. Okay, that looks much cleaner. Wow, it's weird how it, yeah, how it acts differently in certain ways. Alright, cool. So we get rid of the crosswalks here, get rid of the traffic lights. Okay, cool. Now we just have to build it over this side. More fun and games. So again, we'll need to bring our terrain over to match this. Our connection points. I might even use the sloping tool in this manner.
This is Second Moon with J. Thomas Hornbuckle. Before we dive into our next
There we
selection,
go.
I'd like to take a
Get
few
that to match
memento moris to
what's
elaborate
there.
the formal structure of the symphonic work. For
And we're
our
going to bring it
new or
around.
less
This
able
road's probably going to get in the way, so...
first, we will be
So if I try to
dancing
bulldoze,
through
it'll
the
bulldoze that
al
whole
dente
road,
section
but if I add
before entering the slower,
just a little
larger
side
movement,
street,
folded and savoring the vivacious
say here,
antipasto movement. So, without further ado, let's
that'll give me a
raise the
node,
curtain
and that problem's
and
fixed.
begin.
And then we can do our... So we're probably going to need that space there as well, so we're going to knock out this building. Pick our points over here, and start doing that. Alright, cool. And as we learned from before, we start off with the one lane and we can upgrade it. Oops. So one lane highway tool from here. Can't even see where it's attaching. Okay, there we go. Ah, that's weird. Okay, there we go. That's doing what we did, what happened last time as well. I've got to make a shorter bend initially. And then hopefully this will work. Except for that weird lump. Oh no, that's not in the road though. That's so weird though. Oh look, there's a cloud. Oh no, that's smoke coming from the building that I just got rid of. Okay. Wow, I actually made a single node in that point. So we'll just smooth this out. Alright. Not sure if this is going to work as I intended it to. What we'll do here is we'll get rid of this lump. just get rid of that for the moment, and then use this tool and just get it to work properly so there's no lumpy bumpy bits. Alright. Find the squared points. Oh, there's a little bit of a wiggle. That doesn't look right. Still feels like there's a little bit of a wiggle. You know what, let's just do one more try. And I think I know what it is. Oh, the terrain needs work again. Okay. Oh, it just still feels like it needs that just that touch. I don't think I'm going to run into the same problem. There we go. Alright, no little wiggle. I think that works. It's smooth. It's smooth as well, as much as reasonably possible. Looks a little bit unsafe coming on that side, but I wonder if I chuck on some um, acoustic barriers. There we go, that looks a little bit more safe, doesn't it? I don't know if I like that, but I'm not sure if I'm sold on that. Having the acoustic barrier does look more safe. Let's leave it for the moment. Alright, cool. We're almost finished with this interchange upgrade. Now, we want to upgrade this to double lanes. Like so. Why is it not letting me do it here? Ah, because I'm using the wrong road. Yeah, safety-wise. Aesthetically pleasing? I don't know. It looks okay. The sound barriers do look alright in this new version. And why not? Let's chuck that last little bit of it in here. Okay. Now we need to get rid of these and get rid of the lights there as well. Can't really do the planes properly, that's fine. So effectively we've only got two signals now, or there was two signals before, but they're only dealing with two ways of traffic. Ideally you'd want this to bypass that traffic light and this to bypass this traffic light. That would make it more efficient, but we're not going to do that. What we are going to do is we're going to save, because it would be extremely annoying if it crashed at this point. I think we're ready to press go. I just feel like I'm forgetting something. Let's check out the terrain. Let's polish it up a little bit. Yeah. Alright, I'll press play in a moment. I just want to smooth out any lumpy bumpy bits. On the side here as well. There we go. That looks much better. I'm not sure if you knew, but the content creators were demoing the game and they didn't have contour lines in it at all. And that guy City Planner Plays kept complaining about it and they put it in. Thank God for that, because seriously, I don't know how they didn't think it was necessary to, I forgot what we need to do. Move that pillar. You're gonna hate me. I'm gonna have to chop that bit. Oh no, I can just see this becoming a mad disaster. Let's see if I can just do it by only removing that part. Oh. I know what I can do. I know what I can do. I know what I can do without causing a lot of pain. Create another node. There we go. That pillar's still sitting there. That's alright, as long as it doesn't. Okay. Six laner. What's going on here? Alright, let's have a look. Oh. Woo! No more pillars in the road. Okay, now we can press play and see if this works. Oh, did you see that? There was a bit of a slowdown in the matrix. Like it had to figure out what was going on. I'll fix up this zoning over here. I probably need to extend that road again. Industrial. Let it build fully out.
What kind of future does music have if it doesn't look to its past? Well, I say the question speaks for itself.
Oh, it looks
Here
like
on
I can
Second
put
Moon,
some more
we know
commercial
you
over
can't
here.
move forward unless you keep both eyes steadily trained on what's behind you.
Add the yellow back in here. Looks like some of it disappeared. Those segments are back. Need to tree it up a little bit. Won't worry about doing too much patterny stuff. There's no tree line tool, which is another thing that makes it a little bit painful too. See if we can get some bigger trees in there. But you can do this mass tree thing, which is obviously helpful. Get a bit of variety going on. So it's interesting now, 66,000 people. My CPU is running at 100%. So the one thing that they haven't included in this game, which I keep going on about in Reddit, is they've taken away the traffic route option. So this is how you look at traffic. So you can see traffic flow. So it shows you if the traffic flow is good or bad, of course. And then you've got the traffic volume, so the amount of traffic that's using any segment of road. But the one thing, and I'm sure you've seen me do it heaps in CS1, is you can't see the traffic routes, as in like where the traffic's going, which is extremely annoying because you can't really like if you have a traffic issue, you can't really see, oh, all the traffic's coming from this point here, a lot of it's coming here, it's feeding from this point to this point. It only just shows you how heavy it is and the volume is on any segment of road, which is, to be honest, it's annoying. I use that feature a lot, and they better bring it back. But people keep saying it's because the AI works differently, but still, if you had that view, you still get an idea of the patterns of traffic, I think. So they really need to bring that back. But anyway, it looks like this is working. I used to get a lot of traffic jams along here. So if we click on that, you can see traffic flow. And it's running near 80%, so that's not bad. This is probably where you get the highest amount of traffic. And it effectively looks smooth. The off ramps and everything are decent enough. Okay, I think that's a good upgrade to the original interchange that I built. And it works in rush hour sort of periods as well. So what time is it? 18:28. So I don't think that's technically rush hour anymore. Yeah, it looks like it's working well. I mean, it's hard to tell because we've got to wait for the proper peak period to come, which I think is in the, there's a morning peak as well. 0 degrees here in this city. So I might try to remember to go back there when it's peak. But yeah, the other interchange I spent a lot of time on, I don't know if I showed you before, is this one here. This one came out really good. So this main freeway comes in and basically feeds the city center. And then it also goes through the mountain pass up through here and over to the new side. Might turn on the day-night visuals again. Yeah, the trees, yeah. So you can see how the graphics is still a bit glitchy. Look, I went back to the day, night, and cycle. There we go, and it comes good. But yeah, putting the trees in here by hand, I did spend a bit of time on it, but it's come out pretty good because it connects two freeways, but it also connects this overpass here as well. And nighttime in Serenity. So the day-night cycle is pretty nice, and you also get the what is it, the Aura Borealis, because I guess this is technically a I guess this is supposed to be like a Nordic map, I think. You probably might know better than me. But it gets a snow season, of course. And even now, so we're in fall, it's -3 degrees here. So yeah, what's next to do? Nicely fixed. What time is it now? So it's still late at night. Look at this traffic map. Yeah, I think that's what the map's called. It's called Windy Fjords or something. Oh yeah, look at this here. So this road is pretty heavy with traffic. Probably because I knocked out that other interchange for so long. I think I'm not pronouncing that right. Fjord? Fjord? I think it's Fjord. I liked this map because it was actually probably one of the more different maps that are currently available. The other ones are all kind of, I don't know, they're a little bit generic, I guess. So I guess the goal is to probably just build around these harbors first, to build along here. I'm actually quite surprised that I'm already at 66,000 people. It doesn't actually feel like it's that built out. Like, I don't feel like I've really built out. Like, if I compare it to the city I was working in, Port Eastington, before, I don't know, 66,000 would feel like a way more building. But the thing is, they are using a bit more realistic populations in the buildings as well, which CS1 didn't do. We have like a massive building like that and have like 10 workers in it. Or even a residential complex with like 3 families in it, and it's a tower. So this one's a little bit more, like if we have a look at it, yeah, so this place here's got 44 residents, which is obviously more realistic. Oh yeah, so it's basically Ford. Just got a silent J, right? Ford Fiesta, Ford Mondeo, Ford Mustang. Now, does the Golden Gate Bridge? It doesn't have any lights. That's pretty cool. But you can probably add lights. Let's go have a look here. So we want street lights. Can I add street lights to it? No, how weird is that? I can't have street lights on the Golden Gate Bridge. I can do it here and here. Don't really need it here because no one's using that at the moment. Doesn't look like it's placed. Seems to have a problem with. There we go. And the light's there. Can we have a light, please? It's with the F Jord. No silent J though. Fjord. Fjord. So Fjord. I think I'm saying it right now. Oh no, there is lights on the bridge. What the? Oh, it must have been because I connected it up. Alright. Alright, chuck some lights here as well. I'm assuming that the tunnel has lights, right? Surely you don't have to put... You wouldn't have dark tunnels, would you? At least you can actually see into them. Actually, it looks like they're not. They're dark tunnels. So if I go to underground mode... Yeah, no way. The tunnels don't have lights. Let's have a look now. Yeah, that is new. They've rendered out the tunnels, but you can't. I think I haven't tried it, but if I grab a car, it won't stay in the tunnel. I don't think. Unfortunately, it doesn't even look like I can grab that car. Let's find another one. Surely there's someone else coming across this bridge. Wow, just one car, please. Wow, here we go. Oh, motorbike. Why not? Let's see if we
A
can
driving
follow the
advisory
motorbike
has been
into the
issued for
tunnel.
the immediate area due to poor road conditions. Please exercise caution if you must drive, and try to stay off the streets until conditions improve. This has been a local public service announcement.
And just take the speed
Delightful.
2 times.
Another letter from our erstwhile listeners.
Take it back to 1.
What's up, honey? Me and my
That is a
sister
mad view though.
love you. Oh, that's nice.
Let's get as close as we can
Y'all
to
got
him.
clarinets and violins, but you got something most music
Straighten him
these
up a bit.
days ain't. Let me guess. Lineage traced back to the great Haydn himself? Let's see here. Y'all got
See if we can go in the tunnel with him. No.
A
Alright,
raison
they'll need to fix that
d'etre?
bug.
Delicious.
That sucks.
My sisters say whoever you got playing the keys got more funk in his pinky.
So I'm sure they'll fix that at some point. I mean, what's the point of rendering the tunnel if you can't actually go in the tunnel?
That must be most exacerbating. Classical music has been known since the time of the early explorers. Funk by contrast.
See, the graphics go a little bit sparkly, which I think is the shadows. Haven't put the shadows on the highest. See what's going on there? Oh, that's because there's a tunnel. Okay.
Industry in the region is
Yeah,
on the
computer says
rise,
no.
and when business is doing well,
Am I
that
in a tunnel there? Yeah,
There's
okay.
no sinking this boat, Glenda.
Let's see, look, that's weird there. Look at that glitchiness. That's no tunnel there. It's just a cutting, and it's freaking out like the soil is still there again. So yeah, here we go. Here's a clear demonstration of the graphic problems that are still needing to be fixed in this game. Oh, look at that. You can see underground somewhat. And there we go, we're back here. Oh, that's pretty lumpy. I'll have to fix that at some point. You can really see the glitchiness. And again, smashing through the mountain. Coming down to my interchange. Cutting across what we know is not there. Yeah, well, you can see there's a few little issues, hey, when you get close enough to things. Like that freeway where it was basically showing the mountain when it wasn't there, is when it was going through these cuttings. So it's not even really, these cuttings aren't really cutting into the mountain at all. It's actually, by the looks of it, just a visual effect. So in reality, the mountain still exists. All right. Well, it's interesting though, because I never played CS1 at the start, so I don't know what it was like when that first came out. But I think they probably had similar issues as well. Well, not issues, probably more so. It was nowhere near as advanced as it got. So I'm assuming this game will go the same way as well. What was I doing? Options. Take off day and night. Alright, what's next on the job list? Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to do was fix this on-ramp because looks hyper unrealistic. Like that slope is just ridiculous. So we might have to take the same strategy as before and just build up to it, slope up to it. Alright, and then cross like that. Do the same thing again. Alright, cool. Can almost get it. What's it saying? It reckons that's too steep. Come on. That's not too steep. Oops. That's annoying. What is it doing? That's it. Ah, continuous mode, okay. as anticipated. I think we need to get it higher. Not that high. Maybe not even that high. I think that's right. It is quite a high elevation. Maybe I should start it a little bit further out. Whoops. Oh. Oh, it's frustrating when it does that. Too steep now, are you? Oh, that's right. What am I doing? I can still build it anyway. I've got that option on. So if I go like that. And then clean connection. Take off that. It's not exactly the most. It would be nicer if it was a bridge. But I don't know how to get a bridge smooth. And that angle is not right. I wonder if I do this. Oh, I'm getting raid. Hey Angel, thank you for the raid. Cheers. Alright, let's give this a crack. Like, stop telling me it's too steep, bro. 48, 48. that. Oh, fuck, that shits me when it does that. Stop doing that. Alright. Okay, let's... Does that still look weird though? It does. It still looks fucking weird. Making it 3 lanes. Well, I'm slipping it into 3 lanes here. I'm just super pedantic and I want to make this as smooth as possible.
For the immediate area
It
due
already
to poor
existed
road
and I'm making it
conditions.
re-exist.
Please exercise caution if you must drive and try to stay off the streets until conditions improve. This has been a local public service announcement.
Ask
That
Ebos,
was
he's been watching
truly
me be
superfluous.
super pedantic
Masterful
all
counterpart.
this
You're
stream.
listening to Second Moon Radio, the station of
I just can't help
levity and
myself.
intelligence.
It's
Don't
just gotta
touch that dial.
look right.
We're live,
Alright.
and we're getting reports about a traffic accident somewhere in the city.
Road maintenance services have already been dispatched, and traffic flow should return to
Maybe
normal.
I've got to pull it up
But
a
if
bit
you're planning
here.
a quick trip out, you
Give it a
might
bit of
want to wait
height.
a little while until everything clears up.
If you're in it,
Says it's too steep.
you already know about it.
But, you
no
know.
use reminding you. Meanwhile, expect delays.
Why
Drive
does it
safe.
not...
Industry in the region is
I think I'm
on
using the wrong
rise,
tool, that's
and
why.
when
I'm using the
business is
continuous
doing
tool.
well, that
I should
floats
probably
our
be using
boat.
There's
just
no
the curve
sinking this
tool.
boat, Glenda.
Simple curve, I think, is the one, but yeah. I just like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Come on, you. Now, why is it being weird? You know what? I need to come off the road first. To get a smooth-ish angle. Like that. And then change the direction. Still quite a steep turn. It is my addiction, isn't it? Yes. Alright, take that off there. Oh no, something weird's happened here now. Graphics glitch. That looks shit too. So we'll build it again. Let's take this away. Let's smooth it out again. Try to make it bridge style. We'll try a simple curve. I think the key is to make it come off. Here. 12% downgrade. Make it 11. Okay, that'll that looks much better. Get rid of that turn. I think the angles, fuck it, the angle's way off. Oh my god. Alright. Maybe the angle I'm trying to achieve is just too much. Needs to be curvier. Too steep, is it? We can go like that. That's better. What's this dicky bit just here though? Why is this doing it to me? See if I can save it. Getting a smoother curve there. What grade do we got? Fuck, I can't. 21. Again. It's just gonna be steep. Stop complaining. And like that. Turn it around the right way. Oh yeah, that looks definitely better. Oh yeah, and it's not lumpy or bumpy. There we go. I think Angel left. He got over it. But yeah, there we go. That looks better. And then maybe we can finish off this industrial estate. And we can make sure that all that work gets saved as well. Alright. So yeah, last stream I actually built this little new industrial thing that I was trying to get done. Trying to get a bit of sharp edges on the waterfront. This was the first industrial part here. It's whinging about a pedestrian connection, but I don't understand where the pedestrian connection needs to go and why does it even need a pedestrian connection? It's a cargo fucking hub. It's not a passenger hub. So no idea, but I think we still have pretty strong industrial demand because I haven't really built that much of it. So this is where we have to watch the contours. Oh yeah, so after we did all that, we should probably make things a little bit smoother over here. Make it a little bit more sharper. And then smooth it out. Yeah, that's better. Alright, so we'll build some more industry over here somewhere. Smooth this out a bit more. It's probably best to try to keep it as flat as possible for industry. So what we'll do is just cut into here like that. So we can get another row of streets. And do it for the other side as well. Alright. Oh no, I don't want a highway, I want a normal road. Okay, I'll build that to about here. And then we'll probably put a slip. I'll just flatten this out to here. I'll put it up on the ridge. I don't usually like to do too much terraforming because it's a bit unrealistic. Especially when you see people just flatten everything. Oh, where am I? Where are my zoning grids? Okay, so we can probably fit a street in the back here. So we'll just do an alley. Like that. That actually looks like it will work. Yeah, that'll work too. No worries. Good to see you, E-Boss. Or good to talk to you, E-Boss. Catch you next time. Alright. Let's punch in some more industry here. Alright, do some more leveling. We might pull it up here so that we can smooth it off a little bit. There we go.
A driving advisory has been issued for the immediate area due to poor road conditions. Please exercise caution if
Get
you
that
must drive,
industry
and try
going.
to stay off the streets until conditions improve. This has been a local public service announcement.
How delightful! Another letter from our erstwhile listeners. What's up, honey? Me and my sister
Probably need a bit of commercial.
love you. Oh, that's nice.
If I
Y'all
put
got
this
clarinets
size
and
commercial, if it actually,
violins,
oh,
but
yeah,
you
it
got
will build
something
something.
most music these days ain't.
Some minor commercial in
Yes,
here.
lineage traced back to the great Haydn himself.
More industry
Let's
and
see
more
here.
industry.
Y'all got soul. Oh, yes, soul. A raison d'être.
Actually, I could probably level that off a little bit
Delicious.
more.
My sisters say whoever you got playing the keys has
I'll
got
pull
more
it back
funk
actually,
than
and it'll
his
smooth that
pinky.
out.
But I told her that ain't funk. That's classical. Yes, indeed. That must be most exacerbating. Classical music has been known since the time of the early explorers. Funk, by contrast, is an entirely modern conceit, and
Okay,
you'll find
let's
none
knock
of
this
that
out.
here.
See if
Funk,
we can
as
get
they
some
say,
full scale
is for the lay
happenings
person.
here.
Now, let's hear another one of those
Okay, doesn't want to take use of that other
soulful
spot.
hits.
And on to our main
Won't force
feature
it.
story. The commercial district is booming as the area is
And we'll
attracting
smooth
more
it off.
high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this.
We're live, and we're getting reports about a traffic accident
Alright, cool.
somewhere
Turn up the
in
speed.
the city.
Road maintenance services have already been dispatched, and traffic flow should return to normal.
Chuck
But
some
if you're
trees
planning
in.
a quick trip out, you might want to wait a little while until everything clears up.
If you're in it, you already know about it. No use reminding you. Meanwhile, expect delays
This spot here
and
could probably
drive
use a
safe.
few more trees actually. Get some bigger trees as well. There we go.
A driving advisory has been issued for the immediate area due to poor road conditions. Please exercise caution if you must drive, and try to stay off the streets until conditions improve. This has been a local public service announcement.
You're listening to Second Moon Radio with J. Thomas Hornbuckle, and we're pervading some of the finest classical music on the air. Keep that dial right here.
Industry in the region is on the rise, and when business is doing well, that floats our boats.
There's no sinking this boat, Glenda. Our story this hour. Kim is on scene outside an abandoned building.
That's right, Jim. This decaying shell is a symbol of the industrial decline sweeping the city. People are being laid off. The industrial sector is on the verge of collapse. And worryingly, crime is on the rise.
Thanks, Kim. Always got to watch out for crime, not to mention collapsing buildings. We'll have more after this.
driving advisory has been issued for the immediate area due to poor road conditions. Please exercise caution if you must drive and try to stay off the streets until conditions improve. This has been a local public service announcement.
A driving advisory has been issued for the immediate area due to poor road conditions. Please exercise caution if you must drive and try to stay off the streets until conditions improve. This has been a local public service announcement.
You're listening to Second Moon, the station for the cultural sophisticate who doesn't fear extending their ears to the more challenging sphere of the classical genre. Let us move now from the musical page to the literary. Here we have some perfectly anguishing correspondence from a listener. My dear Professor Hornbuckle, whereas I make no apology for my erudite, modesty demands that I prevaricate against the title. I am but a humble devotee of the form, and all my expertise derives merely from a life devoted to the gentle arts. Though I do thank you for the honor. But I digest. To continue. Professor Hornbuckle, as a traveler from my homeland, I long to hear a tune that speaks to the anguish of my road-weary soul. There now, my good fellow, chin up, as it were. No need to wallow in sediment. Leave that to those poet chaps, eh? Here's a tune just for you, and I do hope it provides your aching spirit some modest desolation.
We're live, and we're getting reports about a traffic accident somewhere in the city.
Road maintenance services have already been dispatched, and traffic flow should return to normal. But if you're planning a quick trip out, you might want to wait a little while until everything clears up.
If you're in it, you already know about it. No use reminding you. Meanwhile, expect delays and drive safe. And on to our main feature story. The commercial district is booming as the area is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this.